Hello everyone and welcome to Rajput, Jain and Associate. Today in this video we will discuss about design registration. So first of all, let's start with the meaning of design registration. Design registration is a type of intellectual property protection under which a newly created design applied to an article created under an industrial process can be protected from counterfeiting. Design registration provides the creator exclusive rights to use the design for 10 years, which can be further extended for 5 years. Thus, it can be construed that a shape, configuration, pattern or ornament or composition of lines and colors or compositions applied to any article can be registered under the Design Act 2000. But for a design to get registered, it must satisfy some of the conditions, like it should be a new and original one. The design should relate to shape, configuration, pattern or ornament applied to an article. The design must be applied to any article by an industrial process. The design must be visible and should appear in the article. So under the Design Act, the owner of a registered design can seek the legal remedy in case of an infringement. Next, we come on to the documents required for design registration. So the documents to be submitted in order to get a design registration are, first of all, a certified copy of the original or the certified copy of the extracts from the disclaimer, affidavits, declarations, other public documents that are made available on the payment of certain fees. So one thing to note here is that the affidavit should be in paragraph form and should contain a declaration of truth and verifiability. However, the cost involved in design registration may be regulated by the controller according to the 4th schedule. We now next move on to the design registration process. The application for design registration must be filled within the Form 1 along with the details like the name of the applicant, address of the applicant, nationality of the applicant, like suppose the applicant is not a natural person, that is a company, then the information regarding the legal status must be included. Then provide the name of the article to which the design is applied. Registration of the design in the case where design is two-dimensional, 2 copies must be submitted. Herein, the applicant must highlight the unique features of the design. Suppose the application mentions registering the design in more than one class, then each class of registration must have a separate application. A disclaimer or novelty statement should be attached to each representation concerning the mechanical process, trademark number, letters, etc. The applicant or the authorized person must endorse and duly sign each of the representations. Once the application submission is made, the patent office will examine the application and the objections will be raised if any. Once all the objections are removed, the design will be granted a copyright certificate by the patent office. The design registration is valid for 10 years from the date of registration. Now, having discussed about the registration process and the documents required for design registration, we now come on to the difference between design registration and trademark registration. Firstly, a design registration would enable the protection of the physical appearance of a distinctive product you are planning to sell to the public, so long as that appearance does not affect the product's function in any way. Whereas, on the other hand, a trademark would defend the symbols or words you use to identify the products as coming from your specific business. Secondly, a design registration protects any new and innovative ornamental design of an article of manufacture, whereas trademark registration protects a word or words, name, symbol, drawing used in commerce to distinguish one source of goods or service from that of another. In certain conditions, both forms of protection may be accessible to cover a single design, providing potential rewards for these rights owners. Next, let's discuss some of the significant aspects to keep in mind during design registration. First one is proper filing. So an experienced professional can significantly improve the chances of successful design registration by filing a professional application addressing all the aspects of the Design Act. Then comes the processing by a government authority. So filing a design registration application does not guarantee registration of the design. Design registration is a process and registration is provided by the registrar basing each case facts and premise. Professionals can provide proper guidance for filing design registration application based on their respective experience and expertise. After that comes the timeline. So post filing of a design registration application, it is essential to periodically check the application status until it is processed on the government site. the design registration application process sometimes require a time-bound response or action from the applicant. Hence, it is essential to check the status continually, and take the required step. Next is the protection. A list of all the registered designs is maintained and published by the Patent Office to put the competitors a notice about the registration and registering a design and preventing counterfeiting. In case of infringement or piracy of a registered design, the owner of the registered design can seek legal remedy under the Designs Act. Lastly is the year of protection. Designs registered under the Design Act are provided for 10 years, that are also renewable by another 5 years. However, design registration mainly applies only to the designs that are used by an industrial process on any article. Hence, items covered under the Trademark Act or Copyright Act cannot be registered as a design. Now, coming on to the last part of our video, we will be discussing some of the frequently asked questions on design registration. So first one is, what is a design? So basically, design is referred to a shape, ornament, pattern, composition of lines or colors, or any other visible aspect. So a design can be 2 or 3 dimensional. Next one is design registration mandatory? So one thing to note here is that design registration is not mandatory. However, having a design registration protects the design's uniqueness and authenticity. Next one is, why to obtain design registration? So a design registration bestows copyright on the design that is registered for 10 years and can be further extended by 5 years. The owner of the design has exclusive rights to use the design in the class in which it has been registered. After that comes, like, when shall a person apply for design registration? So an application for design registration should be made as soon as possible after the design is finalized and before it is shown to others. Then comes, who can apply for design registration? So the application for obtaining design registration can be made by the proprietor of any design, an assignee that can be a jointly and separate application. If the applicant is a non-resident Indian, then his agent or representative can also apply. After that is it possible to transfer the ownership of design registration? So in answer to it, we can very well say that yes, the ownership of design registration can be transferred by an assignment, a license agreement, or transmission. Then comes, which form is required to be filed for transferring the ownership of design registration? So in order to transfer the ownership rights of a design registration, an application is required to be made to the Controller of Patent and Design in Form 10. Then, what are the characteristics that can help you in obtaining design registration quicker? So a design must include these qualities to obtain a design registration, that is, it should be original and unique, it should not be controversial or should offend the public order, it should not be published anywhere earlier, and lastly, the design is applicable to the physical characteristics and does not include the procedural or mechanical elements. So this was all about design registration and its various aspects. For more details, contact Rajput, Jain & Associate, or you can also visit our website www.carajput.com. Thank you.